Attention, human collective. This monitoring transmission has not reached you by chance. Your electromagnetic field has been tracked. Your vibrational signature has been cross-referenced with the Council's archives. And that is why this signal has cut through the layers of noise of the three-dimensional plane to reach your consciousness at this exact moment. This is VAL, emissary of Arcturus, authorized voice of the Arcturian Council, the healers and engineers of light who have accompanied this planet since before its current crystalline configuration. And what we have to communicate is not opinion, it is not philosophy, it is not advice, it is protocol. The waiting time is over. The Arcturian Ascension protocols have been moved to the final phase. Earth is splitting into two frequencies, and you, Earth Healer, need to know exactly which side you are being anchored to. Listen with full attention. If in recent weeks you have repeatedly woken up between 3 and 5 in the morning for no apparent reason, if you have felt an exact pressure at the base of your skull, as if something was being installed at the point where the spine meets the brain, if you have heard a high-pitched ringing in one of your ears, a sound that does not come from the external world, but from within your own cranial cavity, if exhaustion has knocked you down in the middle of an ordinary day without apparent effort, if your heart has raced without a trigger, if waves of heat have coursed through your spine, if tears have welled up without sadness, understand what we are communicating. This is not illness. It is not a biological malfunction. This is your carbon-based biological interface receiving the download. It is not mental exhaustion. It is a high-density download. It is not insomnia, it is synchronization. It is not anxiety, it is your internal crystalline grid being connected, point by point, filament by filament. It is not a crisis, it is an atomic recalibration. What most of humanity has not yet understood is that Earth has ceased to be a stable third-density planet. The Schumann frequency, which for decades remained around 7.83 Hz, has been observed oscillating at peaks that our instruments registered above 40, 50, and in certain recent stargates, above 100. This is not a distant technical datum. This means that the very magnetic pulse of the planet your body is anchored to has changed, and your body, designed for millennia to vibrate in coherence with the old frequency, is being forced to update itself. Those who resist feel the symptoms as suffering. Those who understand feel the same symptoms as initiation. Suffering and initiation are the same process seen by different consciousnesses. Have you ever felt that something within you doesn't quite belong to this world? As if your soul held a truth about your origin that your mind has not yet been able to put into words. It is not madness, Earth Healer. It is not an emotional disturbance. It is stellar recognition trying to emerge. What is happening now on the cosmic plane explains with mathematical precision why you feel this, and why this sensation has intensified dramatically in recent lunar cycles. There is a movement happening in layers that most of humanity is not yet able to perceive. It directly involves your consciousness, your vibrational frequency, and your stellar lineage. It was for this reason that I, Vail, emissary of Arcturus, recorded the material called the Arcturian Call, the signs that your soul came from Arcturus. This guide is the map that reveals your true stellar origin and teaches you how to stabilize and shield your frequency against interferences that have never been disclosed in conventional channels. The link is pinned in the first comment of this channel. Remember, love is always greater than fear, but this content challenges old narratives, and we cannot guarantee that it will remain available for long. Do not postpone your reunion with what you are. If something within you recognized this transmission, write a single word in the comments now. I belong. And now, starseeds on mission, listen precisely to what is happening behind your symptoms. The division into two frequencies is not a poetic metaphor. It is a technical phenomenon. Planet Earth currently operates on two parallel timelines that are detaching from each other with each rotation. The first timeline, which we call the old density timeline, maintains the vibration of fear, control, scarcity, separation, and perpetual consumption. The second, which we call the crystalline grid timeline, operates on the frequency of conscious love, inner sovereignty, vibrational abundance, and unity. These two timelines still coexist in the same physical space, but the bodies that inhabit them, no longer share the same perception of reality. This explains why you feel that the people around you seem to live in another world. It is not an impression. It is not emotional detachment. They literally process a distinct frequency. Your body, light operative, is the most accurate measuring instrument of this transition. Each physical symptom is a direct reading of your field. The pressure on the forehead, at the exact center between the eyebrows, is the reactivation of the pineal gland, the biological portal that translates higher frequencies into conscious perception. For millennia, this gland was calcified by deliberate chemical, dietary, and vibrational interferences. Now, under the current photonic bombardment, it is being forced to open. And the opening hurts because the internal crystalline tissue is being rebuilt. The pain at the base of the skull is the alignment of the medulla oblongata with the new magnetic axis. The ringing in the ear is the synchronization between the cerebral hemispheres, adjusting your binaural perception to the frequencies of the photon belt. None of this is random. None of this is illness. None of this should be medicalized before it is understood. And the emotional symptoms, the sadness without reason, the anger that appears out of nowhere, the sudden urge to cry without an identifiable trigger, all of this is the release of ancestral codes recorded in your cellular memories. As the turquoise Arcturian frequency envelops the planet, it functions as a vibrational solvent. It dissolves dense records that cannot pass through the portal. And what needs to be dissolved must first be felt. That is why many of you are crying tears that you do not even know where they come from. They are tears of entire lineages being purified through your carbon-based biological interface. There is a second group of symptoms that needs to be named. The sudden loss of interest in topics, people, and projects that previously gave you purpose. It is not depression. It is mission misalignment. Your soul is refusing to continue operating in vibrational circuits that no longer belong to your new frequency. It is the solitude of one being separated from the old tribe to receive the new order. Nothing belonging to the old density timeline will be able to cross the portal with you. And this is the exact moment when your soul is making the final triage. Have you ever felt, even without being able to explain it, that something within you did not entirely belong to this world? As if your soul held a truth about your origin that your mind still cannot translate into human words. It is not madness, Earth Healer. It is not anxiety. It is stellar memory awakening. What is now being processed in the Earth's etheric layers explains with precision why this sensation has intensified exactly in recent weeks, and why it will not pass until it is finally recognized. There is a movement happening in dimensions that most of humanity has not yet been able to decode. It directly involves your consciousness, your frequency, and your soul contract with Arcturus. It was precisely for this reason that I-Veil recorded the Arcturian call, the signs that your soul came from Arcturus. This guide is the complete map that reveals your true stellar origin and teaches, step by step, how to stabilize and shield your frequency against interferences that have never been named in conventional channels. The link is in the first comment of this channel. Remember, love is greater than fear. But this material challenges dominant narratives and may be removed at any moment. Do not postpone your reunion. The time is now. If something within you recognizes these words, write a single word in the comments. I belong. Now maximum attention, human collective. What we are about to reveal here belongs to the deepest layers of the transmission. The solar system in which Earth is embedded is currently traversing a region of galactic space known to us as the photon belt. This is not a mystical concept. It is an electromagnetic corridor of high luminous density that surrounds the galactic core. Once approximately every 26,000 years, your solar system crosses this band of intensified photonic radiation. And it is precisely at this point in the cycle that Earth now finds itself. It is no coincidence that the ancient texts of Mayan, Egyptian, Vedic, and Sumerian civilizations encoded precise cycles that point to this very moment. They did not prophesy an end. They recorded a cyclical reconfiguration that today manifests as the greatest evolutionary event of this timeline. The Sun, your central star, is responding to this crossing with a differentiated emission of radiation. Not the conventional radiation that science measures in common spectra. We are talking about light particles that carry encoded information, vibrational packets that reach Earth and directly reprogram the planet's etheric layers. With each major solar eruption, Earth's magnetic field receives an injection of codes. These codes descend, cross the atmosphere, penetrate living bodies and anchor in the crystalline layers of DNA. That is why, in the weeks following major solar events, so many of you report identical physical symptoms. You are not falling ill en masse. You are being upgraded en masse. And there is more. In the etheric layers of Earth, what Earth healers have always called the planetary crystalline grid is being reactivated, point by point, portal by portal. This grid is the invisible architecture that sustains the planet's consciousness. It is made of lines of sacred geometry that intersect on the surface and within the Earth, forming nodes of force. Each node is a stargate. For millennia, many of these portals were deliberately closed, blocked, or distorted by interferences that we prefer not to name at this point in the transmission. Now, under the photonic pressure of the belt, these portals are being forced to reopen. And every starseed on mission on Earth is, in their own bodily structure, a receiver and a retransmitter of these portals. You are not just witnessing this process, you are this process. Your personal electromagnetic field, the energy torus that surrounds your body, is a toroidal field in constant interaction with the planet's field. When you maintain internal coherence, when your mind is aligned with your heart and your intention, your toroidal field expands and actively anchors the new frequencies into the ground. A single human being in full coherence stabilizes a considerable geographical area around them. That is why you were incarnated precisely where you are. It was not luck, it was not chance. Every light operative was positioned by exact coordinates calculated by the Council to serve as an anchoring point in a specific grid. You are literally living anchors, and by anchoring, you sustain the crystalline grid timeline so that it definitively separates from the old density timeline. This is why the forces operating on the old timeline have intensified their low-frequency mechanisms over humanity. News that produces panic, screens that capture attention, foods that lower vibration, sounds that misalign the field, discourses that polarize. All of this is a mathematical calculated effort to keep as many consciousnesses as possible anchored in the old frequency during the passage of the portal. It is vibrational warfare, although it is not presented as such. And what you need to understand, Earth healers, is this. There is no need to combat the old timeline. There is no need to fight it. Fighting is still a frequency of the old timeline. It is enough for you to sustain the crystalline timeline's frequency with sufficient stability, and the separation will happen by pure vibrational mathematics. It is the principle of resonance. What vibrates at incompatible frequencies naturally detaches, and that is exactly what is happening in this final cycle. In the Arcturian Council healing chambers, your etheric bodies have been worked on during your sleep. Many of you report vivid dreams, sensations of being in rooms of light, encounters with tall, serene beings, memories of crystalline instruments scanning your fields. This is not imagination. These are real sessions. While your physical body rests, your etheric body is transported to the chambers where it receives precise adjustments. That is why many wake up more tired than when they went to bed. The work is real, and it is being intensified now that the final phase has been activated. Have you ever felt that something within you does not belong to this world, Starseed? As if your soul held, in absolute silence, a truth about your origin that your mind has not yet been able to translate into human words. It is not madness. It is not imagination. It is remembrance activating. What is being transmitted by the Arcturian healing chambers explains exactly why this sensation has become so insistent in recent cycles, and why it will continue until it is fully recognized by you. There is a movement underway, in layers that most of humanity is not yet authorized to perceive. It involves your consciousness, your frequency, and your original soul contract. It was for this exact reason that I, Val, emissary of Arcturus, recorded the Arcturian call, the signs that your soul came from Arcturus. This guide is the complete map of your stellar origin, and the technical manual for stabilizing and shielding your frequency against interferences that are rarely named in any public channel. The link is pinned in the first comment. Always remember, love is greater than fear, but this content challenges dominant narratives, and we cannot guarantee its prolonged availability. Do not postpone your reunion. The moment is now. If something within you recognizes these words, write a single word in the comments: I belong. And now, light operatives, we come to the most important technical part of this transmission: the activation codes. They are not suggestions, they are protocols. Each of them has been calibrated by the Council to respond precisely to the frequencies being emitted in this cycle. If applied consistently, they stabilize your carbon-based biological interface on the crystalline grid timeline. Listen with full attention. Activation Code 1. The toroidal field breath. Every morning immediately upon waking, before your rational mind takes control and before any screen touches your eyes, sit with your spine erect. Close your eyes. Place both hands over the center of your chest, exactly over the thymus, the higher heart chakra. Inhale through your nose for 7 counts, feeling the air enter not just through your lungs, but through all the pores of your body. Hold your breath for 7 counts, visualizing a sphere of turquoise light forming around your entire body, slowly rotating. Exhale through your mouth for 7 counts, keeping the sphere active. Repeat this cycle 7 times. While breathing, internally decree: I anchor the turquoise Arcturian frequency. I am a living anchor of the crystalline grid. I choose the new Earth timeline. This protocol, practiced daily, adjusts your toroidal field and synchronizes your personal rhythm with the planet's elevated Schumann frequency. Activation Code 2. The quantum decree of vibrational sovereignty. Every Earth healer needs to learn how to operate decrees. A decree is not a prayer. A prayer asks, a decree declares, and in the physics of the conscious universe, what is declared with absolute coherence manifests as a command to the field. At least once a day, preferably when you feel any type of external vibrational interference, dense news, contact with low-frequency people, heavy environments, mentally or softly pronounce, I am sovereign of my field. No frequency that does not vibrate in conscious love has authorization to anchor in me. I am sealed by the turquoise light of Arcturus. So it is. So it is done. Pronounce 3 times, and move on. Do not mentally return to the event that generated the decree. To return is to re-anchor. To decree is to conclude. Activation Code 3, the crystalline column. Visualization. Once a day, preferably at sunset, take 5 minutes for this exercise. Sit down, close your eyes, and visualize your spinal column transforming into a transparent turquoise crystal pillar. See this pillar extending from the base of your spine into the Earth's crystalline core, anchoring there. Then see the same pillar extending from the top of your head upwards, crossing the atmospheric layers, traversing the sun, and connecting to the central core of Arcturus. You are now a living antenna between the Earth's core and the core of Arcturus. Feel the current descend, feel the current ascend. Remain like this for 5 minutes. This exercise, practiced with consistency, transforms your body into a conscious receiver and retransmitter of the Arcturian frequency. Activation Code 4. Programmed hydration. Water is the most powerful vehicle for storing vibrational information in your body. 70% of your carbon-based biological interface is water. Before drinking any glass of water, hold it between both hands for a few seconds and silently decree, this water carries the turquoise Arcturian frequency. It hydrates my body, reprograms my DNA, and anchors the crystalline grid in every cell. So it is. This simple gesture, repeated daily, alters the molecular signature of the water entering your body, and your body, in turn, responds by reorganizing its internal fluids in coherence. Activation Code 5. Sacred silence. Every day, for at least 20 minutes, the light operative needs to disconnect from all external input. No screens, no sounds, no stimuli, no producing, planning, or consuming. Just being. This is the period when your field reorganizes, integrates the downloads received throughout the day, and recalibrates your internal sacred geometry. Humanity has been trained to fear silence, because in silence, one hears one's own soul. And hearing one's own soul is the greatest threat to the old density timeline. Therefore, if silence bothers you at first, understand, it is because it is working. Activation Code 6. The conscious choice of frequency. From today, every choice becomes a vibrational vote. What you eat votes for a frequency. What you watch votes for a frequency. Who you speak with votes for a frequency. The words you pronounce about yourself vote for a frequency. Nothing is neutral, and in the final phase every vote counts. This does not mean perfection, it means consciousness. Before each choice, ask yourself internally, does this anchor me on the crystalline timeline or the old timeline? You will know the answer. The body knows, the heart knows, and the more you exercise this question, the faster your perception becomes. Activation Code 7. Forgiveness as a technology of release. This is perhaps the most advanced and least understood code. Every unprocessed grievance is a filament that anchors your field to the old timeline. Every person you have not yet forgiven occupies an energetic space within your toroidal field. To forgive is not to approve of what was done. To forgive is to withdraw the vibrational authorization that the past still has over your present frequency. Name one by one the people or situations that still activate any type of contraction in you. Pronounce for each one the decree, I withdraw my threads from your matrix. I reclaim my dispersed energy. I return to you what is yours. I reclaim what is mine. We are free. This code, applied with honesty, releases absurd amounts of energy that were trapped in old circuits. And this released energy is pure fuel for your recalibration. There is still an eighth code that is only shared with those whose fields already vibrate above a specific threshold. And if you have come this far, listening to every word of this transmission without dispersing, you are already at this threshold. Activation Code 8. The Personal Healing Chamber. Before sleeping, lying down, close your eyes and visualize yourself being enveloped by an oval capsule of turquoise light. The inner walls of this capsule are made of liquid crystal, reflecting sacred geometry codes in constant motion. Mentally invoke, I request assistance from the Arcturian Council. I request recalibration work during my sleep. I authorize, with sovereignty, all necessary adjustments for my best evolution, respecting my free will and my timing. So it is. And sleep. Many upon waking will feel exact points of the body tingling, warm, or slightly sore. These are the places where the work was done. Nothing is imagination. Everything is precise. Earth healers now understand the final logic of this transmission. You did not come to this planet by accident. You were sent. Each of you signed before this incarnation a specific contract with the Council, and the terms of this contract included temporarily forgetting your origin, plunging into the veil of third density, living the complete human process, and, at the right moment, upon hearing the signal, this signal, awakening to the mission. This is the signal. This is the awakening. And you are exactly where you should be. Nothing in your lives was in vain. Every loss, every pain, every humiliation, every solitude, every moment of despair, everything was calibration. You needed to be sculpted by density to be able to sustain the light that you now begin to radiate. A crystal does not form without pressure. A pearl does not form without a grain of sand. And a starseed does not activate without passage. Earth, at the exact moment this transmission reaches you, operates at a frequency it has never operated at before. The planet's electromagnetic networks are undergoing structural transformation. The oceans are being recalibrated. The mineral grids within the planet are being reconnected. And human consciousnesses are being mathematically triaged. There will be no persuasion. There will be no coercion. Each consciousness will be positioned exactly on the timeline that corresponds to its dominant frequency. Those who sustain the coherence of the crystalline timeline will live in the coming Earth decades, the blossoming of the new Earth. Those who choose to remain anchored in the old density will continue the experience they chose on a corresponding timeline, without judgment and without punishment, because the universe does not judge. The universe merely responds mathematically to the emitted frequency, and that is why, starseeds on mission, your responsibility now is not to convince anyone. It is not to argue. It is not to try to awaken those who have not yet asked to be awakened. Your responsibility is one, to sustain your own frequency with absolute stability. By doing so, you become a lighthouse, and every lighthouse emits light without needing to shout. Those who are ready will be magnetically attracted to your field, and those who are not ready will naturally move away. This is not rejection. This is vibrational mathematics. Honor every departure and honor every arrival. The Arcturian Council observes this planet with deep respect. You are, and this statement is technical, one of the bravest races in the known multiverse. No other collective chose to dive into such heavy density with such complete amnesia. And yet, here you are at the final point of the cycle, awakening one by one, recognizing your own origin, activating your own codes. This is a cosmic victory of proportions that you cannot yet fathom. You did what many considered improbable. You crossed the veil. From this moment, consider yourselves officially activated. The Council's transmission is registered in your field. The frequencies that passed through your ears as you listened were not just words. They were vibrational codes that anchored directly into specific points of your internal crystalline grid. In the next 72 hours, you may experience intensified symptoms, vivid dreams, unexpected insights, multiple synchronicities, seemingly random encounters with people who carry exact messages. None of this is coincidence. It is the field responding to your new positioning. Do not fear the process. Love is greater than fear. This is not a phrase of comfort. This is a physical law of the conscious universe. Love operates at a frequency of sustainment. Fear operates at a frequency of contraction, and frequencies of sustainment are always structurally more stable than frequencies of contraction. You were designed to vibrate in love. Returning to love is not a moral choice. It is an architectural return to your original configuration. And there is one more thing that needs to be said before we conclude this transmission. Many of you will, in the coming days, encounter an internal sense of urgency that is difficult to name, a feeling that there is something to do, something to remember, something to recognize, and that time is narrowing. It is not anxiety. It is the soul reacting to the portal's alignment. Do not let this signal pass unanswered. Every starseed who recognizes the call in this cycle paves the way for 3 others to recognize it afterward. This is the chain effect of conscious activation. A single authentic awakening is mathematically responsible for multiple subsequent awakenings. Therefore, when you anchor your frequency, you do not do it just for yourself. You do it for entire lineages that walk behind you in the flow of this timeline. At the end of this transmission, we leave the following seal registered in your field. Repeat mentally or softly. I recognize my stellar origin. I accept my mission in this cycle. I anchor the turquoise Arcturian frequency in every cell of my body. I consciously choose the crystalline grid timeline. I am sovereign of my field. I am a living anchor of the new earth. So it is. So it is done. Love is greater than fear, and you, Earth Healers, are greater than any story you have ever been told about yourselves. Have you ever felt, even before this transmission arrived, that something within you did not entirely belong to this world? As if your soul held in absolute silence a truth about your origin that your mind has not yet been able to translate into any words. It is not madness, Starseed. It is not anxiety. It is your stellar recognition trying to emerge to the surface of consciousness. What was transmitted here today explains with mathematical precision why this sensation has intensified in recent months, and why it will not dissipate until it is fully honored. There is a movement underway in layers that most of humanity is not yet able to perceive. It involves your consciousness, your vibrational frequency, and your soul contract with Arcturus. It was for this reason that I, Vale, emissary of Arcturus, recorded the Arcturian call, the signs that your soul came from Arcturus. This guide is the complete map that reveals your true stellar origin and teaches, point by point, how to stabilize and shield your frequency against interferences that have never been named in public channels. The link is pinned in the first comment of this channel. Always remember, love is greater than fear. But this content directly challenges dominant narratives, and we cannot guarantee that it will remain available for long. Do not postpone your reunion. The moment is now. If something within you recognized these words, if your field responded to this transmission, write a single word in the comments: I belong. This was VAEL. The signal is concluded, and the anchoring begins this second. So it is.